on the patio of the church with their kids. They're there because they want God in the right place, and they want their kids to have God in the right place. That's the challenge.
Mohammed, I'm sure you can appreciate that the Islam that you talk about here is very different than the radical Islam that we read about in the newspaper. My question is, does it make a difference in the Quran or to the Prophet if the person who is the transgressor is a member of your faith or not, and whether they believe in Allah? And then likewise for the other clergy, does it make a difference if it is a faith-based or a non-faith-based transgressor?
Of course not. As far as, we hear this word radical Islam, what we need to focus on is, of course, the source and the Quran and the prophetic traditions and what they teach. And unfortunately, in every religion, you will have people who understand it incorrectly. And unfortunately, you will have issues. And those issues, we have to basically build from. If it's a person is transgressing and he's of your own faith, he will get the same punishment, or he will get the same in return. And if it's of a different faith, they will get the same return. I don't know if I answered the question.
Because there's oftentimes language about the infidel, and the infidel does not deserve any kind of mercy. The infidel does not constitute a human being. That's the language that we see in the papers. And the concern is, if that is not the tradition of the Quran, then what is leadership doing to bring that to the public?
Well, living in this country, there is leadership that is doing what they can. And as far as, the infidel, basically the Quran does have words which have violence in them. So does the Bible, and so does the Torah. And basically we have to understand that these words, why they came. Now the Quran came over a period of 23 years. And in those 23 years, sometimes it was revealed while the Prophet was in the market. Sometimes it was being revealed while he was at home. Sometimes he was in the mosque. And sometimes it was being revealed while they were in battle. So the verses that are coming are according to the situation they're in. So if a person is in battle, the verses are going to be of that sort, but we cannot take it out of context. Now, the surah or the chapter that it comes in many of the debates and many places. It's the 9th chapter, and it's called Surah Tawbah, and the 6th verse where it says, kill them wherever you find them. So we do teach this to our children. And I was just teaching this a couple days ago, actually. And then I asked them that, what do you think about this verse? Why is it there? Why is it coming? So then you have to explain the whole context, that, the Muslims were driven out of Mecca, and they left their homes, they left their businesses, they left their lands, and they were, persecuted and massacred and tortured. Now after a few years, they came back to Mecca. They came back to their city. And there was a peace treaty. And in that peace treaty, it's one of the few times in history that people have come back to their land and there's no violence at all. Zero. They came back and they settled, and the prophetic tradition says that the prophet came and he was on his camel and his head was down like the most humble servant. And he said the words that Joseph said to his brothers, لا تثريب عليكم اليوم. There will be no transgression against you. There will be no difficulty on you on this day. So they come back, and now they're in their land, but the peace treaty was broken over and over and over and over again. And there were assassinations on, the assassinations were trying to be made on the Prophet, and many other things. So this chapter starts out with Bara'atun min Allah, the first verse, where it says, now the obligation of your treaty that you had on you, it's finished. And now, the verses of war are coming, because now they're at war. So we have to keep that into context. We can't take this verse and put it, a person comes into a cinema and he starts acting on that verse, because that's not the context. It was at that time, in that period, for those people. And it came down, and we learn a lot of rules as far as treaty is concerned, and as far as the Prophet coming, and there was no violence, so we have to teach this. But in the same time, the war was also there, and we also have to teach that. But we can't take that out of context. Having said that, now we have people that have a wrong understanding of that. And you will always have people that are ignorant. And, like you said, there has to be voice, there has to be people, there has to be, scholars up there. And they are. They're trying their best. And I think they're succeeding, but the media magnifies those places where they're not. So we only see what the media is showing us, but if we were to travel the world a little bit, then we will see something else.
Thank you for being a voice of peace.
May I take this from you first? Thank you. So we want to thank our panelists for being willing to share so openly. And we hope that you'll join us for our other two discussions. The next, speaking of folks who get it wrong, the role of females in, the history of religious traditions. Tuesday, February 19th, that will be at Corpus Christi Catholic Church. And after that, myths and misperceptions, which will be Tuesday, March 19th at the King Fahd Mosque. And we hope that you will join us in all those places. He's going to show you something funny in just a minute, but before I lose y'all to him, we are giving each of our speakers who came here tonight their own water bottle that they were pouring out of tonight, and it says, "Heal the world, Tikkun Olam Keilat Israel." Because we really do believe, all of us in this room, that this is what begins to truly heal the world, is to start coming together and talking bravely and courageously and openly with one another. Now you can have it.
No, I just couldn't believe that somebody sent me this in the mail. It's a fruit and nut bar called "A Priest, a Rabbi, and a Penguin Walk into a Bar." That's all.
Have a great evening.